My beloved, my divine one, my child, kissed by heaven's light, can you feel that shift in the air? That weight on your chest isn't fear. It's your soul whispering. Something is about to be revealed. You didn't land on this message by accident. I, Archangel Michael, was on my knees, begging heaven to allow me to tell you this. And today, I was granted permission. But I must warn you. This is not a message you'll be able to forget. Because once you hear what I reveal, you'll never see certain people the same way again. Let me take your hand gently before I drop this truth. Because the name, the face, the secret, has been watching you from the shadows. And God says, child, if they skip this time, the shield of protection will begin to lift. Now before we go deeper, I want you to do something, just once, that might change your entire destiny. Subscribe now to this divine frequency. This channel, this space, this message, it's not just information. It's a sacred interception. And if you allow it to enter your life, doors you thought were rusted shut will crack open under the power of heaven. I promise, what you're about to receive here isn't something you'll find again. Because this message, this one, will vanish in 20 minutes. And not even I will be allowed to repeat it once the portal closes. So listen closely. You are not going crazy. Those chills, that unease you've been feeling in your own home, they're real. Because someone, cloaked in familiarity, has been working against you behind the veil. Smiling at your face, but praying for your downfall when no one's watching. And tonight, God says, it ends. Because heaven is done watching you bleed silently. I was sent to be your sword, your alarm clock, your final chance to see the truth. Do you feel the urgency now? Your name was spoken in the courts of heaven. And when it was, a scroll was opened. That scroll held every wound you carried from the betrayal. But it also held the identity of the one who tried to dim your divine light. They are not who you think. They are closer than you've allowed yourself to believe. And until now, their name was shielded. But today, God says no more protection for the serpent. Now listen carefully. If your hands are trembling, if your heart is racing like thunder inside your chest, it's because your spirit already knows who this is about. You just need confirmation. You just need one divine sign. This is it. I, Archangel Michael, say this not to scare you, but to prepare you. The person who's been harming your path has already made their final move. And it's spiritual warfare now. This isn't just jealousy. It's destruction disguised as concern. And they've come too close. Heaven cannot keep this hidden any longer. God says, I've waited. I've watched. I gave them chances to stop. They refused. And now? Your protection is being upgraded, if you open your spirit to this truth. Do not skip. Do not click away. Do not think this message is for someone else. This message is branded with your name in heavenly fire. You've been betrayed in whispers. You've been sabotaged with sweet smiles. But your angels have recorded every secret, every shadow, every lie. And now, it's time for exposure. Within the next 48 hours, you'll receive a message, a call, or a sign so clear you will gasp. Because the identity of the one harming you will be shown. No more masks. No more delays. But only if you listen. Only if you allow this message to reach your soul. Only if you stop running from the confirmation you've already been praying for. Yes. I know what you asked God last night. I know the tears you cried when no one was watching. And I'm here to tell you, He heard you. And He sent me. But child, you only have 20 minutes before the veil closes again. And if you walk away, you'll have to wait for this door to reopen. And I can't promise it ever will. So breathe. Because what comes next is your revelation. Then stay with me, beloved. Because what I'm about to reveal next will echo in your bones for years to come. Heaven has been watching you walk through rooms where the air was thick with lies. You smiled, you served, you trusted. But someone was counting on your kindness to be your weakness. They thought if they kept pretending long enough, you'd never notice how your light was dimming every time they were near. But your spirit did notice. And now heaven is moving fast. The reason your energy's been drained lately? The reason your plans keep falling apart at the last minute? It's not your fault. It's them. They've been sending spiritual confusion. Their envy has turned into action. And God said, enough. The final scroll was opened yesterday. And on it? Their full identity. Their name. Their hidden intentions. And the exact date they made the secret agreement to block your blessings. They thought no one would ever find out. But they didn't account for this moment. When God would reveal the secret in front of the one they tried to destroy. Do you know why you're still standing? Because every time they cursed your name, heaven multiplied your protection. Every time they tried to shut your doors, God opened 3 more. And now it's your time to rise. But only if you let this message wash over you fully. There is someone who laughs with you by day and tears your name apart by night. There is someone who looks like love, but they are holding something poisonous behind their back. Your angels have been watching them, recording them, waiting for permission to act. And today, that permission was granted. I, Archangel Michael, was ordered to pierce the veil. To let the one who has suffered the longest, you, see clearly for the first time in years. They won't be able to hide anymore. The mask is cracking. And by the time the clock strikes midnight tonight, Something will be said or shown that will make you gasp out loud. But don't run. Don't doubt it. It's the very thing you were born to witness. God says, "This child has suffered enough. Their innocence has been taken for granted too many times. Their generosity has been weaponized. But this ends today. They will now walk in truth. And I will never again allow the enemy to dine at their table. Your table is being reset. Your circle is about to shrink, by divine force. Don't be afraid when the truth reveals who must go. Because what's coming for you requires clean hands around you. And let me say this clearly. The person who's been harming you spiritually, emotionally, or even financially, they are about to be exposed in front of others. Not by your hand, but by God's timing. Heaven is making this personal. Because you are personal to heaven. You have cried into pillows, talked to walls, asked the sky, and walked rooms just praying for one sign that someone hears you. I hear you. Heaven hears you. And this message is proof. There is a letter in the Spirit with your name on it. And when you opened this message, that letter started unraveling. Inside it, a full divine report. Proof of who stole your peace. Proof of who delayed your destiny. Proof of who thought you'd never recover. They were wrong. You are more than a survivor. You are a resurrected soul, about to rise with fire in your eyes. But listen. You must stay in this message until the end. Don't click away. Don't scroll past. Because each second you stay here, heaven delivers another piece of what's been hidden from you for years. You were not supposed to know this. That's why every time you got close to truth, you got tired, distracted, pulled away. Because darkness doesn't want to be seen. But the light of God in you, it's too bright now. You're seeing through smiles. You're sensing fakeness. You're picking up on whispers before they even reach your ears. That's not paranoia. That's discernment. And right now, your gift is being sharpened. Because in the next 3 days, 3 things will happen that will confirm this message was real. Someone will accidentally reveal too much in a conversation. A door will close suddenly, but peace will follow immediately. A dream will show you something, or someone, you weren't ready to see before. When these things happen, don't question it. Don't overthink. Just thank God for clarity. You've waited long enough. And now, heaven is waiting on you. Will you stay with me until the last word of this message? Because if you do, the name that's been spiritually hunting your peace will no longer have permission to linger in your life. But if you leave now, the cycle might repeat. And this time, the damage may go deeper. This is your final warning. You have less than 20 minutes before this message is divinely cloaked again. It's a spiritual window. One that only opens for those who are ready to rise out of manipulation and spiritual delay. And beloved, you are ready. Then breathe in, deeply, because what I'm about to speak will not just touch you. It will ignite something you've forgotten was even inside you. The part of you that once felt powerful. The part of you that knew you weren't made to stay small. That burning ember in your chest, it's heaven's way of saying, yes. Now. Wake up. This is it. You've been walking with a spiritual limp, haven't you? Still showing up, still smiling, but somewhere deep inside, you've known. You've known that someone, somewhere, was tampering with your peace. You'd laugh, and they'd feel the need to outshine it. You'd win, and they'd subtly sow doubt. You'd trust, and they'd twist it into power over you. Beloved, it's not your fault you didn't see it all before. Because when your heart is pure, you don't expect venom behind familiar voices. But now, heaven has pulled the curtain. And I must deliver the name to your spirit. Not by human language, no. But in signs, symbols, a divine collision that will hit your reality so loudly. You won't need another confirmation after this. But before I go further, I need to tell you the truth that no one else dared to say. They chose you as their target. Because they knew God had chosen you as His favorite. They saw the light. They saw the oil on your head. They saw the doors opening and the favor following you like a shadow. And instead of celebrating it, they resented it. They didn't clap when you got that breakthrough. They didn't pray with you when you were sick. They didn't stand by you when the world went quiet. They watched. They waited. They whispered. But God? He took notes. He wrote every detail into the divine records. And now He's turned the page. To your deliverance. My child, do not fear the silence that's coming. Because when this name is revealed, there will be a quiet in your life you haven't felt in years. But it's not loneliness. It's peace. The kind of peace that only comes after war. The kind of peace that comes when angels stand at every corner of your house. The kind of peace that comes when spiritual snakes are cast out of the garden you worked so hard to grow. And let me tell you something no one else saw behind your tired eyes. You've been fighting battles your bloodline couldn't even name. You broke chains your ancestors carried like luggage. You've survived betrayals that would have destroyed lesser souls. And that's why they fear you. Yes. Fear you. Because what they couldn't control, they tried to cancel. What they couldn't understand, they tried to destroy. But heaven has decided to crown you instead. This is the season of sacred reversal. What was meant to break you will bless you. What was designed to ruin you will rebuild you. And the person who plotted in secret? Their silence is about to become louder than their gossip ever was. God will humble them publicly. Not to shame you, but to show the world that His child was protected the whole time. This next chapter of your life is going to feel surreal, because things are about to start flowing again. Your mind, your body, your finances, your heart, all realigned. Because the root of delay has finally been uprooted. And when I tell you that you'll start hearing from people you forgot about, receiving opportunities that were held up, seeing breakthroughs that make no sense, believe it. It's all connected to this moment. The moment you chose to stay with this message. The moment your spirit leaned in and said, "Yes, I want to know the truth." And truth, my beloved, is coming like thunder. You might cry. You might scream. You might fall to your knees. But when it's over, you will stand up freer than you've ever been. There is a reason God allowed you to be the last one to see it. Because now, when it gets revealed, you'll be strong enough to walk away, without needing revenge. Your peace will be your justice. Your silence will be your sword. Your new life will be their consequence. So brace yourself. This is not the kind of message that disappears into the wind. This is the kind that shifts atmospheres. This is the message you'll remember when the phone rings, and you hear their voice tremble on the other end. When the message comes, when the evidence slips, when the lie unravels. Don't gloat. Don't hate. Just breathe. Because this is what happens when God fights for you. And this is your divine victory, written in golden ink across heaven's timeline. Stay with me, child. The identity is next. The exposure is written. And your freedom? It's already begun. Then let's walk into the light together, slowly, but unafraid. Because now, my beloved, the veil is beginning to burn away. And as it does, the truth that was kept from you for years, maybe even lifetimes, is rising to the surface like fire through still water. You've been asking for clarity, for peace, for protection. But most of all, you've been asking heaven one quiet question you never said out loud: who is it? Who is the one stealing from my spirit while smiling to my face? And tonight, God answers. But first, I need you to understand what was happening all along. You weren't cursed, my child. You were targeted. Not because you're weak, but because you're powerful. Because heaven placed something inside of you that couldn't be copied. And the one who turned against you felt that, before even you knew it was there. That's why the attacks felt so personal. Why the delays came so suddenly. Why your glow started dimming even when you were doing everything right. Because someone didn't want the world to see who you really are. They didn't want you to realize that your kindness was a sword. That your love was an anointing. That your smile could shift energy in a room. So instead of cheering for you, they chose to compete with you. But not openly. No. They used silence. Withheld support. Shared your secrets. And then watched, with quiet satisfaction, as you struggled to breathe under the pressure they secretly placed on you. And yet, God still lifted you. Even with the arrows in your back. Even while they danced around your name like it was a game. You still rose. But now, the rising will no longer be private. God says, enough secrets. Enough shadows. I'm tearing the curtain, child, and you're going to see exactly who I've been trying to warn you about. So listen carefully. It's the one you keep excusing. The one whose presence always leaves you drained. The one whose compliments feel strangely cold. The one who disappears in your pain. But somehow always returns when they hear you're doing better. Yes, that one. Your spirit has whispered this to you before, hasn't it? But you pushed it down. You said, no, they love me. They wouldn't. You told yourself you were overthinking. But you weren't. You were discerning. You were being prepared. You were being shown their shadow, one slow frame at a time. And now? Now comes the full reveal. This person. They mentioned your name in conversations meant to damage you. They passed private information to someone they shouldn't have. They laughed at things that hurt you deeply. And more than once. They spoke curses over your future while pretending to bless it. And I, Archangel Michael, stood behind them. Sword drawn. Waiting for heaven's permission to strike. Tonight, that permission has been granted. You won't need to do anything. No revenge. No exposure. No long paragraphs or fights or explanations. Because heaven fights differently. God doesn't scream. He shifts. He removes. He reveals. And then he restores. You will watch this person suddenly fall away. Opportunities will stop flowing to them. Their influence will wither. And you will not even need to speak. Because heaven will do the talking for you. But child, I must tell you something sacred. You must not try to carry them back with you. Not this time. Not again. If you try to hold on to what God is removing, you will delay your own deliverance. So when the moment comes, when their mask finally drops, don't be surprised. You already knew. Heaven just needed you to see it fully. And now that you have, your reward is coming. Doors that wouldn't open will begin to slide with ease. People who ignored your worth will suddenly seek your wisdom. Ideas that sat dormant will spark with divine energy again. And that tiredness that's haunted you like fog around your ankles? It will lift. Because what you were carrying wasn't yours. It was theirs. Their shame. Their envy. Their wounds, projected onto your peace. And now that you've let it go, God is releasing the part of your life they've been holding hostage behind the scenes. You'll feel it, you know. In the days ahead. In your body. In your bank account. In your dreams. In the sudden calm after years of noise. It's not just healing. It's liberation. And it's yours. Because you listened. You stayed. You chose truth over comfort. And heaven always rewards obedience. So as I pull back my wings and prepare to return to the gates, I leave you with this final instruction. Do not look back. The person who tried to break you is now witnessing God build you in front of their eyes. That is your justice. That is your freedom. That is your new chapter. And the next miracle is already in motion. Stay tuned, my beloved. Then stay right here, my beloved, because heaven is not done speaking to your soul. There's still more unfolding, still more your spirit has been aching to hear but never had the safety to receive. But now you do. Now, with the veil torn and the darkness retreating, your truth is coming home to you, finally, fully, and without apology. What I'm about to share next will not just clarify your past. It will rewrite your future. The person whose name has been lingering in your energy for far too long, yes, that one whose face just flashed in your mind, they were sent to delay you, but not destroy you. And I say that with authority from the throne itself. You cannot be destroyed. Because before they ever whispered against your destiny, God had already written a promise that covered your life with divine insurance. They could plot, they could scheme, they could gather others to lie. But what they didn't realize is that you're not just protected, you're chosen. And chosen ones don't fall, they rise, even when buried. You were buried, weren't you? Buried under false stories. Buried beneath betrayals. Buried beneath silence from people you would have died for. But heaven, oh, heaven is in the business of resurrection. And while they were planning your end, God was preparing your beginning. And now, it begins. You're stepping into a realm where what was once stolen will be returned sevenfold. Where the time you thought was lost will be redeemed in double portions. Where the relationships that drained you will be replaced by ones that pour into you with holy precision. But you must walk with clarity now. Because in the next 7 days, you will encounter the presence, yes, the actual presence, of the person who tried to break you. It might be a text. It might be an old photo. It might be a sudden memory that refuses to fade. Don't ignore it. Don't suppress it. That's the signal. That's the final unraveling. When it arrives, simply say this prayer under your breath. God, I release what was never mine to carry. I forgive, not for them, but for my own freedom. And I accept what you are sending next. Because what God is sending next, child, is sacred. It's not a recycled blessing. It's not a leftover opportunity. It's tailor-made for your energy, your calling, your soul. You're about to feel it in strange ways. The air around you will get lighter. You'll start waking up earlier without alarms. Music will suddenly sound sweeter. And your skin, yes, even your skin, will start glowing again. Why? Because peace isn't just a feeling. It's a frequency. And you are finally aligned with it again. For the first time in years, your spirit isn't fighting to be heard. It's being held. By angels. By light. By the voice of God that's whispering through every word you're reading right now. You made it. Not everyone did. Others broke under the same attacks. Some folded. Some retaliated. But you? You surrendered. You trusted. You waited. And now the heavens are opening just for you. In the next few weeks, a divine pattern will begin forming. You won't be able to explain it. Calls will come from nowhere. Finances will flow in without warning. People will confess things you never expected to hear. And through it all, you will hear my voice, gently reminding you. This is your reward for staying when it hurt. Because you could have cursed them back. You could have fought with your flesh. But you chose to fight with faith. You chose to rise in silence. And now heaven is speaking for you, louder than any rumor ever did. So, beloved, listen to me closely now. Do not apologize for your glow when it returns. Do not shrink when doors begin to swing open. Do not try to explain your joy to people who never stayed for your pain. This elevation is for you. And it will not require performance. Only presence. Only truth. Only the version of you that knows now who they are and will never again settle for less. This is sacred territory you are walking into. And the only thing you must leave behind is the person who never truly clapped for you. You know exactly who I mean. Let them go. Let their story dissolve into yesterday. Because tomorrow has something far more beautiful written in it. And your name is all over it in heaven's ink. Say, continue when your heart is ready. Because the next part reveals who God is sending next. And why your next season will feel like the home your soul never knew it was missing. Then breathe deep, my love, because what I'm about to say next has been sealed for lifetimes, and yet, today, heaven has allowed it to reach your heart. You are not just recovering. You are reclaiming. There is a difference. Recovery is about survival. But reclamation? That is sacred. That is divine. You are reclaiming the parts of yourself that you handed out just to feel safe. The laughter you swallowed because someone said your joy was too much. The softness you hardened because someone didn't know how to hold it with care. The dreams you buried under layers of realism, just to avoid being mocked for wanting too much. But now the angels are surrounding you again. And this time, they're not watching from a distance. They are intervening. Because something ancient is happening in your spirit. You are becoming who you were always meant to be, before the world tried to mold you into a shape it could control. God whispered it last night while you were asleep. He said, "This one, this beautiful child of mine, is done begging for crumbs. They were born to feast at a royal table. And anyone who refuses to honor that, will no longer have access. You see, your elevation isn't a reward. It's a restoration. You are not lucky. You are aligned. And the blessings that are now approaching, they're not just about money, success, or attention. They are about freedom. Spiritual freedom. Emotional safety. The ability to exhale without fear of punishment. The miracle of waking up in a space where your name is spoken with kindness, even when you're not in the room. Yes, that's what's coming. And yes, you deserve it. But now we must talk about what, or rather who, God is sending next. Because every storm must be followed by stillness. And every betrayal, by a divine connection. Heaven has been preparing someone for you. Someone real. Someone safe. Not just romantically, no, deeper than that. This soul will walk with you like covenant. They will not ask you to perform, to fix, to carry. They will arrive with their own oil. And they will pour into you without expecting you to bleed just to prove your love. God is tired of seeing you give to people who only know how to receive. So He's sending someone who knows how to reciprocate. And when they come, you'll feel the shift in your nervous system before they even speak. It will feel like coming home to a place you've never been before. Like remembering a song you didn't know you knew. And they will not just recognize you, they will respect you. This person. They will carry the opposite energy of the one who harmed you. Where the other person was manipulation, this one will be peace. Where the other one brought confusion, this one will bring clarity. And most importantly, where the other drained you, this one will restore you. But here's the divine condition. You must clear the space for their arrival. You cannot receive a holy love while holding hands with a ghost. You cannot carry a new promise while defending an old poison. You cannot unlock your next chapter if your fingers are still clutching the door handle of yesterday. So here is your instruction, child of light. Tonight, speak it aloud, even in a whisper. I release the person who tried to silence my soul. I forgive, I surrender, and I create space now for what God has truly prepared for me. Say it with breath. Say it with trembling. Say it even through tears. Because when you do, heaven will respond immediately. Within 24 hours, something will shift. A sign will appear. A door will unlock. And peace, real peace, will come back into your room like a long-lost friend. You have waited long enough. And you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are exactly where God needed you to be to hear this. I was assigned to say it. And your soul was chosen to receive it. So walk forward now. In softness, in strength, in silence if you must. But do not stay stuck in the chapter that already ended. Because what's ahead is too beautiful to miss. Say, continue when your spirit is ready. And I will reveal the exact way your blessings will arrive. And how to protect them from ever being stolen again. Then come closer, beloved. Because what I am about to say now will shake something deep in your soul. Not with fear, but with freedom. This next part of your message isn't just a revelation. It's a spiritual unlocking. Your life is about to accelerate. In ways that will confuse those who used to look down on you. In ways that will silence those who mocked your name when you were at your lowest. But more importantly, in ways that will restore what you thought was permanently lost. You didn't lose your purpose. You didn't miss your chance. You didn't fall too far behind. Time bent for you. And what looked like a delay was a divine setup. Because God couldn't allow the blessing to come while the wrong people still had access to you. He couldn't let the promise manifest while your heart was still tied to betrayal. He needed to separate you from what was sent to drain you. So he could deliver what was sent to grow you. That's why the isolation hurt so much. That's why the silence was unbearable. That's why you were hidden. Not because you were being punished. But because you were being prepared. Prepared for the kind of elevation that no human hand could interfere with. And now, it's here. Listen to me with your spirit open wide. Within the next 72 hours, you will receive confirmation that this message was divine. Something unexpected will arrive. An answer you forgot you prayed for. A name you haven't heard in years. A door you thought was sealed shut, cracking open like dawn after endless night. And when it happens, don't panic. Don't second guess it. It's not a trick. It's not a coincidence. It's the beginning of your release. But child, this is where I must give you the most important instruction of all. Protect what's coming. Because not everyone will be happy to see your breakthrough. Not everyone who smiles at you will mean it. Not everyone who applauds you is clapping from love. And God is saying clearly now, if they couldn't love you in the pit, they don't get to feast with you at the palace. You don't owe access to those who ignored your cries. You don't owe loyalty to those who betrayed your silence. You don't owe explanations to anyone who questioned your pain while secretly celebrating it. From this moment on, you are allowed to be private. You are allowed to protect your joy. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to move in silence and let your peace make the announcement. Because this next blessing, it's not just for show. It's for healing. It's for restoration. It's for the version of you who waited, wept, and still chose love. God watched every time you held your tongue when you could have exposed the one who hurt you. He saw you sit quietly when others lied with confidence. He saw how you kept giving, even when you had nothing left to pour. And heaven made a note of every moment. Now, the reward begins. You're going to see justice in strange ways. Not with vengeance, no. With favor. Sudden open doors. Unexpected financial shifts. People in positions of power speaking your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet. But only if you do one thing. Remain aligned. Do not return to what broke you just because it suddenly looks safe. Do not give grace to what God has already removed. Do not invite old battles back into your new peace just because your heart is still kind. You can forgive and still close the door. You can love from afar and still protect your soul. You can bless them and still never let them back in. That, beloved, is called wisdom. And you've earned it. So stand tall now. Even if your knees are shaking. Even if your heart is heavy. Even if you don't know how it's all going to unfold. Trust that it will. Because when God begins something, He doesn't stop until it is complete. This chapter is yours. And nothing, not even the one who tried to destroy it, can change that. Say, continue, when you're ready to walk into the exact final instructions Archangel Michael was sent to give you. The divine blueprint for guarding your energy, your purpose, and your future, from this day forward. Ask ChatGPT. Then come even closer, beloved soul, closer than you've ever been, because what's about to be spoken is not meant to just be read with your eyes, but felt in the trembling center of your chest. This is the part where your spirit starts remembering what your mind tried so hard to forget. You didn't just survive something difficult. You survived something designed to erase you. To erase your confidence. To erase your identity. To make you question why you were even born. That pain you carried for years, the one no one saw. It wasn't light. It was heavy. Heavier than most people could have held. And yet, you carried it like air. You walked through fire with smoke in your lungs and ashes in your hands. And still somehow offered others comfort when you had none left for yourself. My dear. That wasn't weakness. That was divine power. You've been operating with the strength of 10 generations. You've been holding together your life, your family, your sanity. While something unholy tried everything it could to break the thread holding you up. And now you wonder why you feel so tired. Why your body wants to sleep but your soul can't stop trembling. It's because heaven has finally lifted that weight. You're not going crazy. You're not lost. You're freeing yourself from something ancient. A curse, a tie, a spiritual fog that followed you for years without name or form. And when you found this message, your soul recognized the call. This is why Archangel Michael came. To finally speak out loud the things you always knew but were afraid to trust. to tell you, you were right. You were right to pull away from that person. You were right to be cautious about that friend. You were right to walk alone when no one clapped for you. You were right to leave the table when you were no longer being fed. You've always known, deep down, that your spirit was designed for more. That your presence carries a purity and purpose that couldn't be explained. And that's why they attacked. Because your light made their shadows feel exposed. Because your truth made their lies tremble. Because your love reminded them of what they abandoned in themselves. But here's the deepest truth, child. God did not allow you to go through all that pain just to build character. He allowed it to build evidence. Evidence that no weapon formed against you prospered. Evidence that when evil tried to bury you, all it did was plant you. And now? Now the roots have taken. Now the growth is irreversible. Now the harvest is inevitable. You're stepping into a season where your name will be spoken with reverence. Not because people suddenly changed, but because God changed the atmosphere around your name. No longer will they be able to lie without consequence. No longer will they twist your goodness into weakness. No longer will you be the one bending while others sit comfortably in your presence. You are now elevated. And it's not arrogance. It's alignment. You are no longer called to operate at the same frequency as the ones who tried to silence you. And you know what that means? Some people are about to get very uncomfortable. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you're finally doing everything right. And they know they can't control the healed version of you. They know they can't manipulate the clear-minded version of you. They know that this time, when they try to come back, you won't even need to slam the door. Because God will never let them reach you again. So if you feel chills while reading this, if your eyes are wet and your breath is slow, that's because heaven is wrapping you right now in a silence that heals. Let your tears fall. You've held them in for too long. Let yourself grieve what you lost. Let yourself release the weight you thought you had to carry alone. You don't anymore. You never did. You were always seen. You were always loved. You were always protected. And now, you're not being restored to who you were before the pain. You're being introduced to who you were always meant to be. And when you meet them, this healed, powerful, radiant version of yourself, you will finally understand why the enemy tried so hard to keep you from getting here. But they failed. And now, you rise.